Namaste everyone, this is Arnika Pavan Dongre and you're watching Arnika Vlogs. Today's video is going to be on communication. In today's video, I will try to cover up the few things, that is type of communications, functions of communications, barriers of communication, and 7 C's of communication with the process and the elements of communication. So let's begin with the video. Okay, so what is communication? Basically, it is a message that a senders try to send to a receiver and receiver understood it or not. It is a functional of communication. Over here, communication is the creation of understanding in someone else's mind to promote the thoughtful action. That is the communication. The objective of a communication is understanding. Objective is understanding, and the nature of communication is to share info in a common to create mutual response. The communication word is derived from the Latin roots of communism, which means sharing of information in journal in common. Objective of communication: the development, information and understanding required for effective communications are to attain high productivity. Poor communication leads to the misunderstanding, insecurity, and wrong expression of the facts. Communication is a process. It's a complex activity, consists of several elements. The elements are source of information, model of transmissions, the characteristics and the behavior of a person who is sender and the person who are the receiver. The communication covers several stages like collection of information, encoding, transformation, decoding, destination, and the feedback. Communication is a process which is linked to senders and receiver. During the process of communication, knowingly or unknowingly, noise is created. So here is the cycle, or we can say the process of communication. Communication has sender, encoding, message, decoding, receiver, noise, and finally the feedback. There are 7 steps of process. So let's begin with the first one, which is the sender. Sender means the person who encode the info and draft for its resources, right? Then encoding. Encoding is the process of converting information into appropriate physical form, words and symbol gestures. Message. The subtitle of information that is sent passes in one of the receivers, and the channel is made using the transmitting message from one person to the another, written, oral or visualized. Decoding. Decoding is the process by which the receiver preserves instructive the message. What is meant by receiver? Then the process by which the receiver prescribed and interrupts it complete only when it reaches to the receiver, right? Okay, next, noise. Factors that disturbs is noise in communication. And the lastly is feedback. Feedback is nothing but taking U-turn of the communication. It is through feedback that the sender come to know whether a receiver understood the message properly or not. Okay, next. Why feedback is known as the final link in communication? So, It is because the process of communication completed, as I told you in the beginning of that process, we have sender, decoding, message, receiver, decoding, and all of that stuff. With that, we have the feedback. Feedback is the main because the sender will understand that the message is clearly understood by the receiver or not through feedbacks. That is why it is the final link of the communication, and it is an important one. What are the types of receiver? There are three main types of receiver: active, passive, and semi-active. In active listening, active means 100% of active listening. Passive means 50% of listening, and selective active means the part which the receiver wants to listen, the part which the receiver wants to listen, he will listen that only, and rest he will not listen at all. So that is the selective listener. Okay, the next one is, what are the common ways of communication? The common ways of communication is through speaking words, written words, visual images, or body language. What is difference between psychology, physiology, physical barriers of communication? Right, these are the barriers of communication, which are P3s. So, in sociology, physical issues are there, poor listening skills are there, poor health is there, poor eyesight are there. And how do we overcome this sociology barrier is through medical exercise, treatments, and to physical exercises. Now we'll go to physical barriers. The physical barrier is divided into three main things, that is space, noise, and time zone. Over here, space means the distance between the two people. Noise means external noise that has been made by others. And the time zone means due to the change in the time zone, there are some difficulties in the communication, right? There are man-made and there are environment barriers. Next, how to overcome through physical barriers? The answer is very simple. Give instruction properly. Postponed of time should be there. And the distance should be proper between two people while communication, right? Okay, next. Social barrier. Physiology barrier. I'm so sorry. Physiology barrier or psychology barrier, we can say it. It's the mindset of people, poor attention, negative feeling, pre-assumption, prejudgments, and daydreaming. How to overcome this is two ways, that are meditation and to learn how to control our emotions with ourselves, right? Now next, the 7 C's of communication, right? So first I will tell you all the 7 C's, that is clarity, conciseness, concreteness, completeness, correctness, coherence, and courteousness. I will repeat: clarity, conciseness, correctness, completeness, coherentness, courteousness are the 7 ways of communication. Now, in clarity means every single word should be clear about the topic. Complex words should not use in your communication, and ambiguity should avoid it. Next, conciseness. Conciseness means there should be time bonding. It means that in meeting we are having a presentation, right? So when we have a presentation, we have a time bonding, and in that time bond only we have to complete a presentation. So we should be concise about our topic. How much time should we give to each particular or specific topic? Next, correctness. The message should be clear and should be complete. Be specific about the place. Perfection of the words are important in correctness. Then we have concreteness. The concreteness means topic should be clear, not fixed. Information should be specific. Information should be specific. Okay. Next, we have completeness. Message should be clear, full of information about time, date, place, venue, goal of the meeting, etc. Coherentness means your point should be clear about the topic. It should be interlinked with each other in chronological way. There should be a proper go of a channel. Correctness. It is courteousness. Courteousness means we should be polite and kind with our words. We should be humble. Kindness, politeness in the way we speak with each other. After following this way, we will get a positive communication. I hope we will follow this way, including me myself. We both will try to follow this ways, right? I hope yes. Now let's begin the next topic, which is what are the approaches of communication. There are three main approaches: information, organizational, and behavioral approach. Information approach. Technical process of transmission of message from one person to another is information. Transmission concept like encoding, decoding contribute to achievement of a given level of performances. Here in this, it is just telling about the technical process, that how can we interact with each other, like encoding, decoding, contributing an achievement in a goal of a level of a performances, right? Next, we have behavioral approach. In behavioral approach, it is leads on the influencing the behavior of the people. The individual behavior of an organizational behavior is highly related to the communication process. Over here, how we behave in our surrounding is judged, and that is why it is called as behavioral approach. Organization process approach. The organization position serve indicates a series of communication. Communication is simply act of transforming information from one person to another person. Okay, what are the process of function communication? What are the purpose of function of communication? So the information expression of, this is question number 16, right? The information expressions of feeling, image, influence, meaning of special affections and motivation are the purpose and the function of a communication, right? What are the effective communication? And explain. Seek to the clarification of your objective before communication. Seek not only to understand but also not only to understood but also to understand. And Clarity and simplicity is used in the way of communication. Listen effectively and make two-way communication. There should be two-way communication. We'll also have two-way communication. You can ask me anything in my comment box below. Okay, next. What are the channel of communication? Explain in detail. So over here, the channel of communication are through oral or written form of communication. Okay, so here there are 4 formal way and 1 informal way. Informal way, we have downward communication, upward communication, lateral communication and horizontal communication. And in informal, we have grapevine communication. So downward communication basically means the flow of communication is from top level to bottom level, top to bottom level. It gives us the instruction of lower level organization. Managers decide what should be passed down to their subordinates. Next is upward flow, which is the flow from bottom to top. The first one, which was downward, it was like this, that we have top to bottom, and now we have it's vice versa, that is to bottom to top. Next, it is a form of reporting, performance, feedback, suggestion. In this upward flow, we are performing to report or give suggestion to feedback to the organization at the higher level. So it's like bottom to top and top to bottom is upward, downward. Next, horizontal communication. Horizontal communication is exchange of thoughts, ideas within equal level of people like you and me. So it's an equal way. Suppose for example, I am a student, I will go to another student for clearing my doubt. It is in horizontal. But if I'm a student and if go to the teacher, though that is up, no sorry, that is upward flow, and the teacher to director, that is downward flow, right? Next, lateral communication means the main purpose of lateral communication is to provide direct channel. So over here it's like horizontal mein we are doing same one, upward and downward you understood I hope basically, and the lateral means direct chain of communication directly to the organization for solving a problems. Informal communication. In informal communication we have an grapevine communication. The grapevine communication means it is a flow where people get together and they can talk anything, not about this, employees, college and particular subject. No, it's free falling information. We can speak anything in this communication, like what is there, how is your day going on, and how, what was the movie you seen last time. You journal talks, what we do journally in a group of friends. That is grapevine communication or informal communication. Next, what are the principles of communication? There are mainly 3 principles of communication: principle of clarity, principle of integrity, and principle of statistic used for an informal organization. Over here, principle of clarity means message should be clear when it is expressed in language. The receiver should understand the message. Principle of integrity, transparency in purpose, process of exchanging information by channel. Principle of statistical use of informal organization. Effective communication can result when people utilize informal communication through informal organization to supplement the communication. This is the statistic of informal communication. What are the common barriers of communication? Basically, over here we have 6 common barriers of communication, which are unclarified assumption. That means there may be unclarified assumption underlining the message because different people assume different things. This result in misunderstanding and create confusions. Though that is very wrong. And that is the basic, community. For example, I having doubt with someone, like I can give you one example. Wait. For example, I'm a person A and you all are person B, right? In that, person A got information, like person A got information from person C, but that person A have mystically, or don't mystically have convert that message in a wrong way, right? The message was ki tomorrow we have a class at 6 p.m. Okay, we have class at 6 p.m. By mistakenly, Mr. A have converted that we have class at 6:30 p.m. So that half an hour late, that was misunderstanding by the Mr. A. So there should not be a clear assumption. We should clarify our doubts with each other. Symmetrics are some words having different meanings. The use of jargon may also make communication difficult. Like for example, in Japan culture, when we start our communication, first we bow down like this and then we say. But in India, it's like namaste, hi, hello. We don't bow down like this in front of everyone. So that is the barrier. Like if I will not bow down in front of Japanese, they will feel like I'm so rude, I'm disrespecting them. But no, because I was not knowing their culture, that is why it happened, right? I'm not rude, right? But when they come and they do not like namaste nahi bhi kiya to chalega yaar. Like directly agar humne communication start kar liya, it's okay. Okay, so that is the thematic means. Emotionality. Emotional reactions like anger, love, hate, fear affects the communication. In this case, neither the sender can provide complete information nor the receiver can receive it with proper attention. For example, if I'm in anger and I got to know about some information that we have tomorrow, same example that I have class tomorrow at 6 p.m. So I was in anger, so I have not told to anyone. So it was my mistake. I was in anger. But if I was in a very happy, jolly mood, then also I would be forgetting. So it was been proper understanding, right? Next, distrust. Distrust means if the receiver has a very poor impression about the sender, he may not give due attention to the message. Over here, if a person have distrust with someone else, he or she will not give attention to that person who is giving the message. Next, poor listening. Listening demands lot of attention and self-discipline too. Poor listening will disturb the communication system. If I am listening to a teacher chapter and I am not, giving full attention to her, I will miss some important point, and if exam that points come, then it will be, misunderstanding कि आपने तो हमें बताया ही नहीं, हमने तो आपसे पूछा था. बट वो गलत मैसेज जाता है क्योंकि वो हमारी गलती थी, क्योंकि वी हैव नॉट लिसन इट, राइट? So poor listening is also a barrier of communication. Next, this is the personal favorite, ego. Ego is the first and the last barrier of communication is an I attitude. I attitude, इसमें like it creates a mental block in everyone's mind. It's like हाँ भाई मुझे तो सब आता है, I'm great, I'm this, I'm that. बट नहीं, मुझे तो सब कुछ नहीं आता है. हम कीप लर्निंग न्यू थिंग्स, राइट? तो हमें हमारा ईगो जो है ना, सबसे बड़ा एटीट्यूड ईगो का, आई मी माई सेल्फ, उससे थोड़ा दूर, थोड़ा नहीं बहुत दूर रहना चाहिए. सो दैट इज द ईगो बैरियर. ओके, नाउ दैट इज, what do you mean by transformational law? The question is, what do you mean by transformational law? The answer for this is, the problem cannot solve. So we cannot solve the problem because this is in our mindset. For example, 98 or 95% people are, in that fear of, I cannot solve मैथ्स तो बहुत डेंजरस है, ये है वो है. नो, ये हमारा मेंटल थिंकिंग है, ये हमने हमारे दिमाग में रखा है. ऐसा नहीं होता है. नथिंग इज इम्पॉसिबल, वी कैन डू एवरीथिंग. वी जस्ट नीड टू क्लियर दिस मेंटेलिटी फ्रॉम हियर कि नहीं, अगर हमने ट्राई किया ना तो वी कैन डू एवरीथिंग ब्रो. दिस इज दैट. The transmission law says that yes, we can solve anything, but because of our mindsets, we are not able to solve that thing. So that is the transmission law. Next, what does mean by the term linguistic, mechanical, technology, and cultural barrier? And how to overcome with these types of barrier? First is linguistic barrier. Linguistic barrier means fact that each major region has its own languages. It's a barrier. Even in the some of working place, different employees with different languages are having some barriers. Here linguistic barrier means हम लोग जो रहते हैं, हर 20 किलोमीटर्स पर हमारा डाइवर्सिफिकेशन हो चुका है. हम हर 10 या 20 किलोमीटर पे भी गए ना, तो वहाँ पे आप लोगों के अलग अलग रीजन्स अलग अलग लैंग्वेज आ जाती है, लाइक हिंदू, मुस्लिम, पंजाबी एंड पंजाबी, मुस्लिम, सिख, सारे टाइप के लैंग्वेजेस आ जाते हैं. तारक मेहता का उल्टा चश्मा, वहाँ पे तो बंगाली, चेन्नई, साउथ इंडियन, हैदराबादी. तो ऐसे जो है ना, बहुत सारे लैंग्वेजेस है. एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में सपोज मेनली 10 डिफरेंट लैंग्वेजेस आई, ठीक है. उनमें से भी देन देयर विल बी डिफरेंट बिलीव्स इन गॉड्स, हाउ डिफरेंट कल्चर्स हो गया. तो दैट इज linguistic barrier. And how to overcome is use plain language, be respectful, use visual methods. Next, mechanical barrier. In this sort of barrier, which is created through machine use in form of communication. For example, noise, power failures, transmissions, etc. To overcome the machinal barrier, we have to check the machine before we go for a communication or for any session. Okay. Next, we have technical barrier. Technical barrier means the description is limited access to useful, relevant and appropriate hardware or software system. It's outdated technology system. To overcome the barrier of technological is offer development training to your employees, how to be techie people, how to take the technology when you are in meeting, and adopt new information, new techniques like Zoom हो गया, Google मीटिंग हो गया, क्लाउड मीटिंग हो गया, डिजिटल मीटिंग्स हो गए एंड डिजिटल कम्युनिकेशन. नेक्स्ट, cultural barrier. As I suggested in the first all part, that was linguistic barrier. In this culture barrier, we have people from different cultures who might speak different languages, wear different costumes, wear different culture belief, have different gestures into a working space. Just like I've told you, as for example, see, for example, I'm Hindu, so I will tell namaste, right? If I'm Japanese, so I will bow down and speak. Then सत श्री अकाल in Punjabi, right? Greeting करते हैं and then we say start our talks, right? So सबके अलग अलग कॉस्ट्यूम्स होते हैं. लाइक बंगालीज का वो वाइट कलर का साड़ी विद रेड रिबन, राइट? रेड रिबन नहीं बोलेंगे उसको, आई थिंक रेड लेस with the white sari, and they have that diyas in their hands, and they काली माँ काली के पूजा करते हैं वो with that diya kapoor. And so there are thousands and thousands of different culture. Okay, मैं अगर अभी बोलते बैठूंगी ना तो वीडियो बहुत बड़ी बन जाएगा. But then I'm just trying to explain you कि there are cultural differences. Every culture have their own beliefs and every faith. Okay, next, how to overcome this? Ensure a clear and polite communication. Learn about different languages and culture and share knowledge. This is it. And next, why are the semitic barrier arise and how to overcome with few examples. A culture can be different understood as an expression, one culture heritage, and misunderstanding there is a culture barrier. Right now I have spoken about the culture barrier. The world use professional communication are different in this culture as a result to the act of semitic barrier. If they are declining with some who have far more cause model of communication. Example of semitic barriers are use of nuance, misunderstanding of words. How to overcome it? Be explicit. Practice activities of listening. When you are having doubt, please clear them and ask questions about the different cultures. Learn about new things, learn about different cultures and their heritage too. So thank you so much. This is all about today's video, and I will meet you on next video. Bye. Love you all 3000 times.